Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
All right, everyone, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This is episode 97. That's 0x97. It is the 152nd episode. Reminder, nothing on this show is financial advice. Stay tuned after all of these updates for a 3-question AMA. It's the last one of the month. So next week, it should be all questions, I believe. And let's go to the first update. Number go up this week is controversial Supreme Court rulings. Been several, and I'm sure there'll be more. And I'm sure all of them are planned and intentionally planned for right before the midterms. Next, Dragonchain Updates. In case you missed it, there was a blog about ransomware protection or comprehensive ransomware protection products by Dragonchain, which about the capabilities that blockchain and Dragonchain in particular can provide to solve the pretty big and growing issues with ransomware. And effectively, we employ behavior systems, software delivery model protections, protection of IoT devices, and then data segregation with a lot of interesting data quality features that you can automatically get with Dragonchain. So go check it out, go share it with your friends and loved ones and people who in particular could use it and might be able to offer it to their company. Next, we'll go to Den.Social updates. And first up, there is the latest LCP from June is now complete. The new layers are now live. There were 9.6 million NFTs, lot NFTs created this month. And that brings us to 172.8 million total NFTs created on Den. Probably the highest on any platform, I assume. I don't know. But super interesting and really powerful. So the new layers are that for the top and unique voters, went to firearms with 3.4 million lore committed and 52 unique voters proposed by Foost in December 2021. And then the number 3 most lore committed was eroticism with 2 million lore committed and 49 unique voters, was proposed in October of 2021. The number 5 most lore committed is photography with 929.5 thousand lore committed and 15 unique voters, proposed by Jackson in April 2022. So not that long ago. That's pretty good. And using the runners up option, someone created World News, which was originally proposed by CryptoBoss in December of 2020. That long ago. That's crazy. And it had 3.1 million lore and 46 unique voters. And then using the option to create proposals that had at least 8 unique voters, the DIY layer was created with 72,000 lore and 12 unique voters, originally proposed by PR1183 in April of 2021. So all that's, I believe, yes, it is all live now, including the eroticism layer. We had to get through some last minute changes to allow age restricted content and things like that. So, we'll probably see demos on it on either Coffee with Den or the DAO call, to kind of show what someone would go through a process of either subscribing to that layer or coming upon content that might be an SFW or something. So anyway, watch for that. We'll get into that. Then we have some DAO governance issues up. One of them is to change the navigation labels on the web interface to allow a hover, and it doesn't affect mobile because you can't do hover on mobile anyway, or at least not, you can't do it well. It's not really a hover, but this was essentially to solve an issue where new users wouldn't know what some of the icons were. And I do think we need to do a full review. If anybody has any feedback on that, some of the icons could probably be improved. They're there, but I think we need to do a full review of the site and improve some of that. On that, there might also, that when we gave it to the engineers, they came back with another option that we didn't consider, which was essentially a collapsible side nav, so that if you didn't want to see the labels, you could just push them off and you would just have the icons. But if you wanted to see the labels, and or by default for a new user, they would just show with the full label. So we might want to do that, but we're going to look at a mock-up, and if it looks good, we'll throw it up for a DAO vote and either vote this one down or just see which one wins out. The other thing is on the tag limits discussion, where there is tagging spam. There are a couple of upcoming solutions to it, including just not showing as many tags when there are hundreds present. But also, we wanted to limit the addition of tags to 3. So you couldn't add any more than 3 tags to any content, although you can vote on as many as there are. So effectively to try to curtail, to attenuate that spam issue. So that'll be there. We've already voted on it, I believe. So we might put something into the, I think something is going into the next priority vote to also consider it for a primary option to finish that out. But we're trying to just get stuff done as it comes on the engineering side when we're in between a couple of the features that are already called for. Next, there is a draft or a discussion on the potential to integrate with Polygon. And this would be primarily for a Matter, and I guess Lore probably, but at least Matter token integration with Polygon in order to make it possible to get past some of the hurdles that are there with Ethereum fees. So, and it's funny because they go up and down, but smart contract interactions tend to always be a little expensive anyway on Ethereum. So, so go check that out, make comments. I still need to go in there and read through everything. So sorry, I haven't weighed in on anything yet. And there's some really interesting elements to it for the community itself, and a few very important things that relate to adoption and future adoption. So that at least need to be considered. So there's that. Next, we have a new governance issue for modification of the LCP selection. And essentially there are 3 options. The first option is to have, I believe, one layer created by unique voter count, like we have had for a while. And then to create number 5 and number 13 of lore committed ranking. And then the second option is just the same in the lore ranking, but to have the top 2 by unique voter created. And then the third option is to do nothing and to run the next LCP as we have been running them so far. And I can't remember what the numbers were. We saw them above, number 3 and number 5, right? So let's see here. So that's all the, I believe all of the governance issues and topics for DenDAO currently going on. Next, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Coffee with Den at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or sorry, Daylight Time. It's daylight. Great. Eastern Daylight, Pacific Daylight. And the DenDAO meeting, which is a live call, is Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. See the post in the DenDAO layer for the agenda, and comment if you have anything you'd like to see added to the agenda. Even if you can't make it, we could at least talk about it. And you are though welcome to join to cover anything regarding Den. And of course, you could comment in YouTube. But if there is a need or a want to have a real discussion on any feature, bug, issue, question about Den, do come on there. You don't have to show your face, but it is just a meeting. It's not a show, so don't be shy. And it's been very valuable when we've had people on there because they've been able to give us some really good ideas and some really good discussions and features have come out of that. Next, we're going to go to the World Blockchain Roundtable updates. First up, episode 58 will be this Thursday with a topic of NFTs on Instagram. Leave a question or subject to discuss, please. I don't know how many are in there yet, and I need to research what exactly Instagram is looking to do with NFTs because I'm not good at all yet. But definitely watch the show, and before that, try to get some questions in. Then watch and share last week's episode, Blockchain in a Bear Market. The more views it gets in its first week, the more lot all the participants will get. I wasn't on the show because I was traveling, but I did get to watch the beginning of it before my plane took off. So next we have the WBRT DAO vote for what we should be calling the primary host. And, we have Grand Pumbaa and MC and Master of Ceremonies. I wrote this one, and I regret that I did not include host and co-host as options or anything more ridiculous. But I think that we will, in the end, probably change it often. How about we probably should change it? We could change it weekly if we want. But either way, we just have to make sure we know which one is currently active when we announce. And watch this Thursday, 3 p.m. UTC again, and make sure that the more people that watch it, the more lot everybody gets. So if you put a question in, you should at least be watching it and getting your friends to watch. That's all the updates. So right after this, we'll have the 3 questions AMA. See you there.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
All right, now I'll pull my screen up so I can see everything. So first question, Jacob Wayne. This is good. It's a question about the anonymous posting. If someone posts something shocking in the layer anonymously, or otherwise controversial, and another denizen asks a question about this shocking news, is there a way for the original poster to reply back as OP and maintain anonymity? Or can anyone reply back anonymously and steer the conversation down a wild path? Just a thought experiment. I have no preference of development. That example. This is very interesting because, like, say, if you know about some anonymous forums, they will, like, say 4chan as an example, they will have a way to trace through who the OP is, or they can. And I don't even know the details of how some of those implementations work in all truth, but we do. How do I say this? This is a great question because we hadn't really thought about this after we originally, when we first started the design, we were going to try to make it so that the person could still get the rewards for that anonymous posting. But then we realized when the blockchain info becomes entirely public, you wouldn't be able to do that anyway. So it instead reverted to, okay, the layer, and it made perfect sense for a layer to do, to potentially require all anonymous posts, as an example, that the layer will get all of the content rewards, which are significant and larger than what a typical layer portion of content rewards would be. So it could be a very interesting situation. Now, we didn't go the extra few steps to think about, is there a way, although we do have this on other systems, and we have spoken about this in the distant past, probably back as far as 2017, 2018, but the fact that we could implement. Now, it probably won't be in this first pass, but maybe we put the first pass up and we see if people want it. But we could very well say, when you make an anonymous post or even a reply, it probably would be any content that essentially clicking the switch that says, I want this to be anonymous, would potentially give you a little interface, or maybe after you posted it, the response would include a ticket, a coupon, a token that you could save, right? And you could ignore it. And once you ignore it, if you don't grab it at that instant, theoretically it would be gone forever. You wouldn't ever be able to prove that that was you that made that post. So essentially, it would be something like the a private key to, something that was recorded as a hash on that post, or something similar, where if you saved it, the only thing you can use it for is to prove, oh, I am OP of that piece of content. So if you needed to prove it, I don't know. It's kind of an edge case of an edge case, whether people would want that. There definitely could be some cases that they would, let's say a prediction, or, a reason to correct the record. If you said something and then realized, oh, that's not what I meant, I don't know. But it's a very good question, and definitely there's a solution to it. We just have to decide if it's warranted or wanted. So, but great question. That type of stuff that's I get super interested in talking about. So, okay, next, Kratoscata Boy. Would Dragonchain ever consider a utility burn? Good question. We would. It would have to be warranted and meaningful. There are some cases that I've even discussed with people about things like swaps. If we ever needed to swap the token, like say what happened when KuCoin was hacked about a year ago, or however long ago that was, that we would have a specific mechanism that we would want to employ to do that, so that it would be by choice and it wouldn't be just automatic, that somebody would have to do something with the dragons they hold in order to have them swap or move to the other side. Or if we decided to move off of Ethereum, as an example, right? Something like that. Now, Dragonchain itself doesn't really hold enough of the dragons to really have much effect in doing this, which is super interesting, because a lot of groups that tout burns, and I don't know if anybody has ever decided that they are successful or not. Mostly I've seen they haven't been too successful in whatever might be wanted. Because typically projects want to do burns to affect price, and we definitely don't want to get involved in some of that, just because of some of the regulatory stuff around it. And how do I say, if you look at Dragonchain's, if you go to Etherscan as an example, and you click on the Dragon contract, the token contract, and you look down at distribution and top holders, and consider that the top holder is, I believe, at 10 or 11% of the total. There is no one with a great amount, and I think most of the top holders, in fact, are exchanges. So that's not really even entirely theirs. I assume there might be bot activity that has effectively gotten them a good balance. I don't know, but one would usually assume, in the best of situations, that those tokens are held on or in an exchange wallet for real people who have accounts at that exchange. But I, of course, don't know. I don't have the insight into that. But if you look at that, that's at least something I would bring up, that Dragonchain probably does not have enough tokens to have much effect in any burns. So I take that for what it is. And I don't know if you went into more detail, if there's a reason, because when you say utility burn, the beyond price based, right? And if maybe I'm thinking utility burn instead of token burn. So maybe I'm misunderstanding. But if it was if you were doing a token burn for utility purposes, there might be some interesting things there. I know that I've talked to several people about the potential for doing something in utility to number one, tokenize time, and number two, fix what might be an issue with the inflation of time. That is, if it keeps going up, it becomes hard to track how powerful it should be, and if you can't transfer it in a meaningful way, it makes it really hard to share the time or monetize the time if you want to. So I've considered a lot of thought experiments there, and there are some definite winners. There are definitely some things that we would like to do, but we're waiting. If we were to do anything like that, it would be for good reason and in a point where the event would make sense for timing. So anyway, next, crypto enthusiast. What will Dragonchain do if it gets delisted from KuCoin? Well, first of all, and this is an important point, and you probably won't care about it, but this is nothing negative about this question. Dragon is different than Dragonchain, so I want to make sure, because sometimes people will spell that out, and even with our discussion in the SEC, and with others, in fact, even with one very large exchange, it became a very pertinent issue that we have no control over that token. It's out there. It is literally decentralized. It is controlled by, oddly enough, it's controlled by Ethereum's governance process and the standard of the ERC20 standard, I should say. So Dragon itself isn't Dragonchain, and Dragonchain doesn't have any control, nor even any IP. The contract is open source. I don't know if it's public domain or not. I don't know if lawyers have ever weighed in on that type of thing for what smart contracts look like for IP. But if it gets delisted, then Dragonchain will just keep building and trying to get adoption in place and doing what we've been doing for four or five long years, however long it has been. There's obvious negatives from, for some people, for, what might be if it's delisted from KuCoin, but sometimes, bad things have to happen, or seemingly bad things or scary things have to happen for good things to come up. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I don't know. I will say, and we've discussed this before, we have answered them, and it took a bit to get replies back, but we finally did get in touch with them, to find out, what is wanted, what can we do within the bounds of what we ourselves are allowed to do with our legal guidance. And they've at least been friendly, and hopefully it's all good. I mean, essentially they did respond that volume needs to be up, needs to be increased, and something we can't control. We don't run any bots or anything like that to trade. So essentially it is their normal criteria that they want volume to be a certain level in order to keep something listed. So it's really hard in a bear market for a small market cap coin. But anyway, that's what it is. So hopefully it won't happen. But if it does, it does. So don't try not to get too emotional if it does, because there will always be, if there is volume there. I will say this is something that's always confused me. People say if it's not on KuCoin, that's where all the volume is. I'm like, well, if there's real volume, is there real volume? Yes, there's real volume there. If there's real volume there, then that volume is going to go somewhere it is listed. There are over a dozen, I believe, places that it's listed. And yes, it might matter where you are in the world, and who knows, it might get split up, that volume. But if it's real volume, it will move somewhere else, and I don't doubt that there's a lot of fake volume on a lot of the exchanges for most of the tokens. But I don't know. And when I say fake volume, I don't know even specifically what that would entail, but you know what I mean. So that's all. So that's the third question, and we're going to go now to the closeout. So this is the last week for t-shirts at 10% off. It is until June 30th. If you go to Dragonchain.Store, the coupon is T-shirts-2022, and it's any of the shirts at all. I don't know what's next month. I don't know what the special is next month. So maybe we should even have a contest for that. Help us decide what the special is. But either way, go on there and check it out. There are a bunch of good ones. There's still some that I need to get. I need to replace a couple that I've worn out also. And in closing, watch Super Happy Dragon Lucky next Tuesday. Follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and Jojo Row on Twitter and elsewhere, especially on Den. And like, comment, share this episode. That's everything. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at Dragonchain.com, America's blockchain.